reached your financial destination.
Today is a very, very special topic. This month in the financial literacy world, it is Credit Education Month. I wanted to make sure that I did not let this month go by without giving a class, is what I like to kind of refer to things. So to do a class about credit, how to build your credit from scratch, how to improve it if you've already established some type of credit, and just how to really get a better relationship or an improved relationship with credit. For all of the newbies out there, I want to talk about how you can get your credit relationship and your credit management career started up. So one of the best ways that you can get your credit started is to get a secured credit card. So a secured credit card, by definition, is a credit card that requires an initial security deposit. It's called a secured credit card for a reason. You're getting the card, but then you also have the money that is a security blanket in case you don't pay. So a lot of times these secured credit cards have a deposit requirement of $200, $300, $400, $500, which acts as your credit limit. And then it's used to help you build your credit history and for you to establish a good relationship with credit. So we're going to see here in a second the top factors that are associated with you having an amazing credit score and how you need to stay on top of those things. So secured credit card is a way to start out doing that. You use the card, you pay it back, and as you continue to do that, that stuff gets reported to the credit bureaus. And then from the credit bureaus, your credit score is established. So even if you have a secured credit card and it does have that deposit that's like the security blanket for it, you don't want to use that security deposit as like a risk of saying, I don't want to pay it. They got the money, that's going to come off as a late payment or a late fee or a ding on your credit report. And you do not want that smoke starting out. I promise you, you don't want that smoke. So if you get a secured card because you have good intentions of establishing your credit, do right by it. Please do right by it. All right. So the next thing that we got here is the other way is for you to be added as an authorized user. So this is usually something that works well if you have parents that are decent with their money. They have good credit already, and you want to and they add their kid on as an authorized user. Now, some people do this a little too early. Some people do it when their kids are, 10, 11, 12 years old, but that leaves so much space until you become 18 where you can start getting your own cards for mistakes to happen. You never know what happened. Maybe hard times come and they forgot that they had you as an authorized user and they get behind on their payments because maybe they lost a job or maybe they switched their career or maybe their income got decreased because of, whatever reasons. I mean, speaking of the government, like people go on, get furloughed and then they don't get paid. You can't pay your bills sometimes. So don't do it so early. You want to do it within, I would say, 1 to 2 years of the child actually becoming 18 years old, because then you're closer to the time when they're going to be able to establish their own credit. So by the time you get 18, and even if you stay on their account as an authorized user, your credit score will begin to increase because now you are using the card because you get a card when you're as an authorized user. But the loophole is you're not liable for the payments. The authorized user is not liable for the payment. So make sure you have a very, very good conversation with the authorized user. And then also the authorized users having an understanding from the adult of their expectations from them. You need to have a certain limit. You can only spend a certain amount. And if you go over, I'm taking it away from you. Whatever limitations or boundaries you want to set those bad boys, because there are many stories of things getting out of control regarding children or even other adults being added as an authorized user. So even though you're not liable for the payments as an authorized user, it is a very, very, very good practice to pay your own charges back. It gets you in the habit of paying back what you owe. It's not just a free for all, just go spend just as you please. So you just want to make sure you're doing that to just, like I said, get good credit management skills, and then also to improve your credit worthiness. The 5 score factors. The 5 score factors. So payment history is 35% of your credit score. Credit utilization is 30%. And that is a heck of a word, ain't it? Credit utilization is 30% of your credit score. Credit history is 15%. Credit mix is 10%. And new credit is 10% as well. So I just wanted you to see those things because those are the top 5 factors. What we're going to do is talk about the top 3: payment history, credit utilization, and your credit history. Your payment history, making debt payments on time, is the top thing that you need to be making sure you're doing. If you're making late payments, no one wants to deal with that. When and think about yourself, like, be honorable and be righteous with your credit. You don't want to be a person that is being a hypocrite, because at the end of the day, if you let somebody borrow money and y'all have a agreement that the due date is going to be on a certain day, when that due date comes and they don't get you your money, what happens? You're stressed out. You want to go find them. You texting them. You calling people like, should I say something? Or you don't call anybody and you hit them up directly like, hey, where's my money? Where's my money? So you don't want to be that person that, just because you don't know, the credit card isn't necessarily tied to an individual, it's tied to a corporation, but you don't want to be the person that says, well, they let me use this credit card and they'll be all right. Only person you're really hurting is yourself. You are hurting yourself. I'm telling you right now. So don't be that type of person. And I'm looking at my notes here. So making debt payments on time every month benefits your credit scores more than any other single factor. Just one payment made 30 days late can do a significant type of damage to your score. An account sent to collections, a foreclosure, or a bankruptcy can have even deeper, longer lasting consequences. And in certain cases, a bankruptcy, depending on which type you do, whether it's Chapter 7 or Chapter 13, that thing can be on your credit report for 7 to 10 years. And the type of damage and impact that has on you regarding buying a home or a car, like that it's major, y'all. So make sure you're paying your bills on time. Plain and simple. Earlier in the video, I talked about how people try to make it so complex. It's not complex. Pay your bills on time. Manage your money, manage your cash and your income to make sure you're paying your bills on time. The top 2 out of the 3 is your credit utilization. This is 30% of your score. The total amount you borrow affects your credit score. So you have a credit limit and then you have your balance. When you divide your credit limit from your balance, or whichever one, you divide the credit limit by the balance. That's going to give you a percentage. That percentage is your credit utilization rate. So if I have, for simple numbers, if I have $1,000 credit limit and I spend $100 of the $1,000, that means I have a 10% credit utilization ratio or utilization rate. A credit utilization rate of 30% or lower looks amazing on your credit report. That's amazing in the credit score world. And really keeping it at 10% by the time your due date comes and your statement date comes, you want to make sure that it's at 10%. That's really going to have you in the 750s and up. So your credit utilization. I'm checking out my notes here. So the total amount you borrow affects your credit score, as does the portion of your available credit tied up in outstanding balances. Your ratio or rate is a significant factor in determining your credit scores. It is also one of the factors that is most responsive to your actions. So if you have a card that's at 50% and then you pay it down to 30 or 25% regarding your utilization rate, that thing's going to have a major impact on your credit score. It's like the quickest way. Payment history is a long-term thing. Utilization is the quick factor that you can fix or impact on a monthly basis. Individuals with the highest credit scores, as I stated, they tend to keep their utilization rates below 10%. And the utilization rates of roughly 30% or greater will more negatively impact your credit scores. So paying down your cars with the higher utilization rates, those are the ones you want to focus on. And I actually have my video, which I think we're gonna get here in about 3 slides. I've already done a video about attacking your debt. And one of the debt repayment strategies is the utilization elimination method, which is you order your cards or your loans in the order of highest utilization rate to the lowest, and you hit them that way. The other two are the debt avalanche and the debt snowball. So when you want to affect your utilization, you want to do those things from highest to lowest and start hitting the one with the highest utilization rate. This will be the quickest impact to your credit score. All right, and then the last one, I'm doing the top 3 credit factors. That's what I'm reviewing. So the third of the top 3 is your length of credit history. And all this means is you want to make sure that if you have accounts open, don't close them. Pay them on time, but keep those accounts. I mean, you don't want to be around here with, I know there are some people that do credit card churning where they use multiple cards for multiple purposes to get as many points and rewards as possible. But having 30 credit cards, I mean, even having 10 credit cards can be very, very stressful. But your oldest card, keep that bad boy open. I have my card from when I was, I think 18 or 19 years old. I still have that card and I still use it. So even if you need to use it for a snack at the grocery store, or you can assign it as your, in our house, we go to Chick-fil-A about once a week. You can use it as your Chick-fil-A card. Like whenever you go to Chick-fil-A, you use that card, pay it off, and you keep that thing active so that your credit history is continuing to grow over time. You never want to close out your oldest accounts because that is 15% of your credit score. And then just a note here, closing accounts and paying off loans in full, it caps the payment history. So the payment history for those cards and those accounts stop right there, but it doesn't immediately cancel out their ages for purpose of calculating your length of history. So that history still, like, it's still a factor that you had a car for 10 years, but when you close it or you pay it off in full, it stops extending your credit history. What happened in the past is still a part of your score calculation, but it doesn't go farther than when you paid it in full or you closed it. So keep that in mind and keep that as a consideration when you're talking about, closing cars and cutting up cars, unless you subscribe to the whole Dave Ramsey philosophy. I started out learning about financial literacy from his program, but I don't agree with the credit card part. That's me. Do you? I just really hound people about being good cash managers and money managers so that you can pay your bills on time when you're using a credit card. So if you're on YouTube, if you are on Facebook, like this video, share it. If you're on YouTube and you're not subscribed yet, please subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell so you can stay in tune with all the videos that we're going to have coming out. I know this stuff isn't for everybody. Everybody's not trying to improve or have a desire to improve their financial situation. But my goal is to give you the information and the knowledge so that you're not ignorant around these topics. And then after that, you're just going to have the decision to make. When you get done listening to me and talking to me, all is left is decide if I want better for myself or not at the current time or ever. So I'll leave it at that. Y'all have a good rest of your day. See y'all on the next one.